I would like to share the use of EventEmitter in closing a modal dialog that is served by a separate component in Angular 7. The first thing I'd like to show is how that close event or how that close button looks like in the modal dialog. So this would be a typical bootstrap markup for a modal dialog in bootstrap. So EventEmitter will be used to trigger a close event and send this event to a subscriber, to another component that would display the modal dialog. First thing is to create a bootstrap modal markup and then create an event handler to the click event of the X close button of the modal. This is usually the X button found on the top right hand corner of a modal dialog. So this one is a click event and it's being handled by a function called close cookie modal. And let's look at this close cookie modal, how it looks like. It's just going to be a one-line statement. And this event will be handled by calling the emit method of the close object, which is of type EventEmitter. So this close event is declared this way. At output, close equals new EventEmitter. So that's all that needs to be done in the modal dialog. You have a modal dialog markup and then a close event already prepared for the close button, X button. And then we go now to the subscriber, to the other component that would display this modal. To subscribe to the event sent by the close EventEmitter object, create a reference to the modal contained in menu cookie info component, which was the component that contains the modal, using the show method of the ModalService object. So this is the ModalService object. It's going to show the modal containing menu cookie info component, and this would be the some of the properties that would be set. And then the show button or the show method will create a reference to the modal. That's the BsModalRef. So this is an object that has now a reference to the modal as well as to the content of the modal, and in effect it will have a reference to the close EventEmitter and therefore be able to subscribe to it, and this subscription will give the subscribing component the capability to hide that modal. That's why we have this hide method. So how are the other methods referenced or created? So the first of all, the BsModalService and BsModalRef can be imported from their corresponding modules. So these are, we're using an NGX bootstrap model type of modal dialog. And then the menu cookie info component, which serves the modal dialog, will be referenced in the subscribing component as well. So this is the component that contains the modal, and we reference it from a component that would like to display the modal dialog. And then those objects can be introduced this way. Notably, the BsModalService, it could be injected in the constructor of the subscribing component, which is a class. So we can see menu help component. And then finally, the subscribing component can open a modal dialog that is capable of sending a close event, so that the subscribing component, that is the component that displays the modal dialog, can close the modal accordingly. So this would open the modal dialog, and as it opens the modal dialog, it also has the capability to wait for that dialog to be closed, because it subscribed to it. It can close it accordingly when the X button is clicked by the user and therefore closing that model.